Hello and welcome to yet another streaming session with the Ascension. I'm Joe Gray. In 15 minutes or less today, we are going to talk about image metadata analysis and some of the potential OPSEC pitfalls from it. So let's just go ahead and get started. So about image metadata, we need to back up and first understand metadata. And let me turn the camera off so that we can focus exclusively on this. Anyway, metadata is data that describes the data. It talks about the situation in which a file was created, what it may be created with, and other attributes. It's data about the data. It can be incredibly powerful, but it is not the end-all, be-all, per se. There are other aspects of it. If we think in the network world, NetFlow is basically metadata, whereas packet captures contain the full context. Anyway, let's talk about the metadata types. You've got EXIF, which also exists in a variety of other file types, such as PDF, Microsoft Office, etc. You've got IPTC and XMP. Let's talk a little bit more about the discussion of metadata. And in doing so, let's understand that metadata can be modified. There are ways to manually edit it. There are ways to use web-based tools. Notice the star next to it. You can do it with Python. You can also do it with EXIF tool. As a result, you want to understand that you don't always have to believe what you see. You need to trust but verify. I personally wrote a tool that I collectively call the EXIF Stomper that overwrites EXIF data within a file with garbage information. To that end, you can also use EXIF tool to do that as well. To that point, EXIF tool is the standard command line tool for viewing and editing metadata. You can also view metadata via XXD, which is a hex dump tool. And then you also can do the same with strings. Let's take a quick look at that. So right here, I'm in a directory and I've got this image right here, image 4438. So we'll start with XXD, and we're just going to do image 4438.jpg. And I'm going to issue the less command because we're going to see a lot of stuff. But right here off to the side, we see JFIF. So that's the forensic magic numbers. We also see Apple iPhone 10 right here, 12.3.1. We see a date and a time. And if we continue through this, we will see more stuff. So Apple iOS, more stuff with a date and a time. Back dual camera. This is all the stuff that we're going to see within EXIF tool, right? And then we continue down, we see more and more and more. But this isn't very practical. This is just a method that I want you to be aware of. So let's try using the strings command. So we have the same thing here, but it's not quite as user-friendly as one would like it to be as well. Let's try this again with the less command. So we have everything that we saw along the side. Strings, this is a tool that's commonly used in DFIR, but you can use it in OSINT as well. Any intelligence for that matter. And then finally, we've got EXIF tool, which is going to format it for us and make it look rather pretty. And I'm going to pipe this to less as well. So this breaks everything down by its placement in the file and the placement within the metadata. And again, all of this can be overwritten. It's not something that has to stay there for forever. We can overwrite this with garbage data, which is what I've done with EXIF tool. I'm not going to demonstrate it today, but that's what I've done with EXIF tool, where it just gives absolute garbage information. It uses the random command within Python quite frequently to overwrite this stuff, but that's not really your OPSEC pitfall. And we'll get to that here in just a moment. But before we do that, we need to talk about web-based analysis tools. And this is a non-exhaustive list. Trust me, you can't throw a rock on the internet without hitting an EXIF viewing website. Jeffries was the go-to before. It's currently down. I don't know when or if it's going to be back. That website made claims that they didn't store anything. You've also got exifdata.com, metadata2go.com, and my personal favorite, photoforensics.com. But notice there's a star next to that as well. We're going to get to the star here in just a second. So let's look at these websites. So with this, it wants a file. Okay, so I'm just going to drag and drop this same file over. We upload it. You can do a URL as well. We're going to get the same data that we got before. And for whatever reason, it didn't work. I guess I didn't make the appropriate sacrifices to the demo gods. Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but we'll just let that go. It could be my browser. It could be a lot of other things in terms of my architecture, which is okay. Here's metadata2go. I'm going to drag and drop the same file. Start analyzing the file. So it's uploading. I hope that kind of gives you a hint into what the concern may be. And we are going to open up CyberChef as well, that we'll talk about here in just a moment. But this gives us everything that we get from the EXIF tool within the Linux ecosystem. You can edit it, you can delete the file, which is cool, but nevertheless, there are concerns there. And then finally, we've got photo forensics, which again, for just general use, this is one of my favorite websites to use because of a certain feature in this called error level analysis, which you can do that in other tools as well, but photo forensics makes it quite easy. So this allows you to see if something's been heavily doctored or not. You also immediately get the digest from it, but here's the metadata. Again, this is the exact same thing that we see within the metadata, the EXIF tool on Linux. We also, the Latin long is in everything within EXIF tool itself, but with this, we actually put that latitude and longitude into Google Maps and we can click out and follow it that way, which is kind of cool. But here is the problem. You have no assurance that it is not stored. When you upload that file for analysis, what ends up happening is someone else's computer, someone else's processing power performs that analysis for you and gives you a result. You have no assurance that it is not stored. So in some investigations that you may do, that may violate your non-disclosure agreement. In some cases, the stuff is stored. We know it is. And case in point, we have it right here. So if we go back here to digest, notice this, the file name of this. So right here is the SHA-1 hash, starts with 475E. This starts with 475E. This ends in 037D. This ends in 037D. And then we have a period here, and then we have 5437842. 5437842. So this website stores it because I can share this link with you, and I will share it. I don't mind to. But basically what it's going to do is it's going to be photoforensics.com/analysis.php !ID equals SHA-1 hash .file size. That is a serious OPSEC concern. And the reason I opened CyberChef is because right here in this URL, we actually have a UUID. So let's drop this into CyberChef and do a UUID decoding. I thought CyberChef did it. We'll go this route. So again, I'm going to copy this UUID. In fact, I'm going to cut it to make sure I got it. I'm going to enter it, and we're going to see if we can decode anything out of it. So it appears as if there's nothing specific to it in terms of what is going on here, but the fact that there's a UUID for it That means that we can actually go this route and do an in-URL Google dork for this UUID. Nothing was found that's indexed by Google. In some cases, that may create a situation that we can find this particular UUID within a URL, which would indicate that it's stored. Or in this case, we have the hash and the file size, which indicates that it is stored. So that's basically what I was getting at with this in terms of the problem with web-based EXIF tools. In terms of going through the repetitions and getting familiar and comfortable with it, by all means do it. But if you're actually in an investigation, especially one with an NDA, one dealing with sensitive information, or one dealing with people, you may want to avoid the web-based tools. If you want to contact me, I'm at C_3PJoe on Twitter or at the Oscension. There's LinkedIn and for myself and the Oscension, as well as other social media, including the Oscension Tidbit, which is the blog. If you are interested in training, you can go to theoscension.com/courses. If you want to do on demand, that's academy.theoscension.com. You may be watching on Twitch now. That's twitch.tv/theoscension. We're on YouTube at youtube.com/@theoscension9198. And you can join our Discord at oscent.mobi/discord. That's all for now. Thank you very much, and I will see you soon.